You went quiet, and everything changed. Not because you made a scene, not because you said something dramatic, not because you issued some kind of ultimatum or sat them down and explained yourself. You just stopped. Stopped reaching first. Stopped filling the silence. Stopped making it easy for them to take your presence for granted. And something happened on their end that they were completely unprepared for. They panicked. Hi, I'm Lily. And if this title stopped you mid-scroll, if something about those words felt uncomfortably familiar, stay. Because what came through in these cards today is not a coincidence. Subscribe if you haven't already, and let's get into this. Because the cards are telling a very specific story right now. The very first energy that hit me the moment I connected to this reading. So here is what I need you to understand first. Before we get into what they're feeling, before we get into what is happening on their end, I need to talk about what you did. Because pulling back, genuinely pulling back, not as a tactic, not as a game, but as a real act of protecting your own energy, is one of the most powerful things a person can do. And most people do not realize it until they see what happens next. You stopped over-explaining yourself. Stop double texting. Stop showing up with the same energy for someone who is not matching it. Stopped being so available that your presence became something they stopped noticing. And the moment you stopped, they noticed. Immediately. Not after a week. Not after a month of you being distant. Almost immediately, something shifted in how they experienced their days. Because here is what happens when someone who has been consistently warm and present suddenly becomes quiet. The air changes. The space you used to occupy, the space they did not even realize they were depending on, suddenly feels different, emptier, like a sound that was always in the background that you only notice the moment it stops. That sound was you, and they can hear the absence of it everywhere. What is actually happening inside them right now? And I have to be honest about this. Okay, so let me tell you what is going on inside them. Because it is more complicated than just missing you. And I think you need the full picture. When you are consistently present, warm, available, reaching, they moved through their days with a kind of unconscious comfort. The comfort of knowing you were there, of knowing that if they reached out, you would respond. That if things felt uncertain, your energy was a constant they could rely on. They did not appreciate that comfort. Not because they are a bad person, but because we rarely appreciate the things that never disappear. We appreciate what we almost lost. We appreciate what we have to reach for. And now they are reaching. Here is specifically what that looks like on their end right now. They are checking constantly your social media, your last scene, anything that gives them a read on where you are and what you are doing and whether you are thinking about them. They are replaying conversations, looking for the moment things shifted, trying to identify the exact point where your energy changed. Because if they can identify it, maybe they can fix it. They are drafting messages. Writing things out, deleting them, rewriting, deleting again. Because everything they type sounds wrong, too casual, too intense, too obvious about how unsettled they are. They are not sleeping well. And the reason is simple. They took something for granted. And now, that something is no longer guaranteed, and they can feel it in their chest every single day. Something about you that I need to name, because this is the part you need to own. Let me talk about your energy right now, because what you did, this pulling back, was not nothing. I see. I know it might have felt like giving up, or like being petty, or like playing a game you did not want to play. I know some part of you wondered if you were doing the right thing. You were. Not because it strategically triggered them, though it did, but because it was honest. Pulling back was your energy finally aligning with your reality. You were tired. You were giving more than you were receiving. You were showing up fully for someone who was showing up partially. And some part of you, the intelligent part, the self-aware part, recognized the imbalance and quietly started correcting it. That correction is what they are feeling. And here is what I need you to understand about the power of that. When you are consistently available, consistently warm, consistently the one who reaches, you become the backdrop, the assumed, the constant that nobody thinks to question. The moment you step out of that role, you become the story. Every conversation they have, every quiet moment in their day, every time they reach for their phone, you are the story running underneath all of it. They are not thinking about the version of you who was always there. They are thinking about the version of you who decided to stop. And that version is the most compelling thing in their world right now. What is driving their desperation? And this one is specific. Okay, now this is the part that matters, because I want to be precise about what they are actually feeling. Because it is not just missing you. There is something underneath the missing, something uncomfortable, something they are trying very hard not to look at directly. Guilt. They know, not suspect, not wonder, know that your pulling back was a response to something, to a pattern, to an imbalance they were aware of and chose not to address, to moments where they did not show up the way they should have, and told themselves it was fine because you would still be there. And now you are not there in the same way. And that means it was not fine. The guilt is sitting in them like a stone. Because here is the specific fear underneath all of this. It is not just the fear of losing you. That would be easier to manage. It is the fear that they deserve to. The fear that the distance you have created is not a misunderstanding to be explained away, but a consequence. A fair, accurate, entirely justified consequence of how they handled something precious. That fear is what is making this feel desperate. Not desperate the way a game feels desperate. Desperate the way accountability feels desperate. The way someone feels when they are looking directly at the cost of their own behavior. Something else is coming through, and I was not expecting this. There is a third energy in this reading, and I was not expecting it to show up here, but here it is. Someone else has noticed that your energy has changed. Not the person we have been talking about. Someone different. Someone in your broader environment who has been watching you step into a quieter, more self-possessed version of yourself. And they are paying very close attention. This is not someone with bad intentions. This is someone who is genuinely drawn to the shift in your energy, who finds the quieter, more boundaried version of you more compelling than the version that was always reaching, who sees something in how you are moving right now with this specific calm, this grounded self-containment, and wants to be near it. I am telling you this not to distract from the main story of this reading. I am telling you this because you need to know that the way you are carrying yourself right now, this new energy, this pulled back, rooted, I know my worth energy, is visible to more than one person, and it is magnetic. What you did by pulling back, you did not just affect the person you pulled back from. You changed how your energy reads to everyone around you. And people are responding. What they are about to do, and pay attention to this part. So here is what is coming. The internal back and forth they have been having, the checking, the drafting, the deleting, the replaying, that phase is ending. It is ending because the discomfort has become too loud to manage through inaction. There is only so long a person can sit inside the anxiety of an unresolved situation before they have to do something about it. And they have been sitting in it long enough. Something is about to move. A message, a call, a gesture, some form of reaching. And when it comes, it is going to carry the full weight of everything they have been holding since you went quiet. It will not be casual. It cannot be casual. Too much has built up inside them for whatever they send to feel light. And here is what I need you to know before that moment arrives. You get to decide how you receive it. You do not have to immediately respond with the warmth you always used to. You do not have to make it easy for them just because they are finally making the effort. You do not have to shrink back into the available, always there version of yourself because they are now reaching the way you needed them to reach before. You have information now that you did not have before. You know what it looks like when they take your presence for granted. You know what it feels like when the balance is off. And you know, because you just lived it, that you are fully capable of choosing yourself when you need to. That knowledge does not disappear just because they are suddenly showing up. What you deserve from this? Because this needs to be said clearly. Okay, this card is sitting right in front of me, and I am not going to soften it. What you need from this person, if this connection is going to become something real, is not an apology. Apologies are easy. What you need is a pattern change. Not one good week followed by a slide back into the same behavior. Not effort that appears when they feel the distance and disappears when they feel comfortable again. A genuine, sustained, this is who I am now shift. And here is how you will know if it is real. It will not require you to keep score. It will not feel like something you have to monitor. It will not leave you watching for signs that they are slipping back into old patterns. It will not make you feel like the one responsible for maintaining the momentum. Real change feels like relief, not like vigilance. And you, specifically you, have been through enough vigilance. You have spent enough energy watching carefully, reading the signals, trying to figure out whether you are being valued or just being used as a comfort. You deserve relief. Full, uncomplicated, I do not have to track this relief. That is the standard. Hold it. What I need you to take from all of this, the thing this whole reading has been building to. Here is the truth underneath everything I have said today. Your pulling back was not a tactic. It was not a game. It was not you playing hard to get. It was not a strategy you read somewhere and decided to implement. It was self-preservation. It was your energy finally, honestly, authentically aligning with what you actually needed, which was space. Rest from the imbalance. A moment to exist without carrying more than your fair share of something that was supposed to be shared. And in creating that space, in stopping the reaching, in letting the silence do what words never could, you revealed something. You revealed that you are not a constant. You are a choice. And choices can be made or unmade. They carry weight. They have consequences. They require something from the person making them. You were not too much. You were just too present, too available, too consistent, too easy to take for granted. And the moment you made yourself less available, less easy, less certain, everything shifted. Because suddenly you were something they had to reckon with, not something they had, something they could lose. And the fear of losing you is doing more work than any conversation ever did. Last card. This one is yours. Here is the last thing I want to leave you with. When they reach out, and they will, the question is not whether to respond. The question is who you are when you do. Because there is a version of this where you get the message, feel the warmth of finally being reached for, and quietly slide back into the old dynamic. Back into the available, always there, filling the silence version of yourself. And that version of you will end up in the same place. And then there is another version. The version that receives the reach, stays grounded, and responds from the energy you have been building since you went quiet. The version that is warm, because you are warm, but boundaried. Open, because you are open, but not endlessly available. The version that knows, with complete clarity, what is acceptable and what is not, and holds that clarity, gently but completely, no matter how good it feels to be reached for. That version does not go back. That version goes forward. With full information, with full self-possession, with the specific quiet confidence of someone who has already proved to themselves that they can choose themselves when it matters. They are desperate to get close again. The real question is, what will close look like this time? And before you go, if something in this reading landed in a place that needed to be landed, good. That means it found the right person. I'm Lily, and this space is built for exactly who you are right now. The version of you that is done being the constant, done being the one who reaches, done making it easy for people to take your presence for granted. If that is you, subscribe. Stay close. These readings are made specifically for where you are standing right now. If this one moved something, like this video. It helps this reach the next person who needs to hear it. And think of someone in your world, someone who just went quiet on someone who needed waking up. Send this to them. No caption, no explanation. They will know exactly why before they reach the end. And if you want part 2, what happens when they actually reach out, how to respond, what the cards say about whether this connection is worth rebuilding. Drop it in the comments, because I want to know your story, and I have more to say. I will see you in the next one.